Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures. Today I'm going to be having another look at another G.I. Joe Classified Series figures. This is of course Footloose. He is number 156 in the G.I. Joe Classified Series. As you can see over here, there's a cool little drawing over here. So of course I do like this kind of boxes due to the fact that you have a blister card in front of it, and this makes it pretty interesting. Also over here we do have a bit of some tanks in the background. I don't know if this is going to be an announcement of having some future stuff. It is interesting to see that we have Dusty over here. We have some little pictures of the figure itself with some of its detailing. Of course, over here we do have again some of his new military tactical skills, but don't know if the web page has been put up to date. So now that we got the box away, yes, maybe before jumping in, let's talk about it. This is, of course, a 2025 figure. Suggest retail price for this figure is still $24.99. You can still get it from Hasbro Pulse in the US. And this was a general release. Now, also, this figure is going for 29.99 euros if you live in Europe. So, now that we got this out of the way, let's jump into the history of this figure. So, jumping into the history. So, here is my mint box Footloose back from the days. Of course, as you can see, they did a pretty good job. The figure was an interesting figure. I remember getting it as a kid, and my big issue was the fact that you couldn't put the rifle in his hand. So, what I did, I used a lighter and kind of burned a bit his fingers over there to be able to bend his hand so I would be able to slide in the rifle. So yeah, that was something that I did as a kid, not the smartest thing. The figure itself is pretty cool because he had some camouflage net on his helmet over here, the fact that he had a backpack, the sling with his M16 rifle, the little rocket launcher, really did make him look cool, and the fact that you have also some pouches, some camo, really gave it this army look that you wanted in your G.I. Joe figures. So of course, we're going to spin it around. Here is his file card, so if you want to put a pause and read all about him, you can. As you can see, this was a figure that must have came out in the 1986 line, due to the fact that we have 85 figures and the 86 figures were over there. So this figure also came out in the 25th anniversary line, so you're going to have a picture that I took from yojo.com. This one came out in 2012. Surprisingly, they did not do much more around this figure, knowing that in 1987, if I'm not mistaken, he came out in the Sergeant Slaughter's Marauders. So are we going to get him in a repaint in 2026 in the line of the Man Marauders? Who knows? With Hasbro, we don't put it past that we're going to get quickly this repaint version of this figure. Now that we have dived into the history, let's have a closer look at what we get in the box. So, of course, in the box we get the figure, we get the lore, who's opened up, we do get a backpack over here, we get his helmet with night vision, we get an extra rocket for it, we get a pistol, we get a knife, and of course we get his kind of AR-15, M16 with, of course, a removable magazine, and then we also have the little sight on the rifle itself. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at the figure. So as you can see, head sculpt looks pretty nice. There's a certain vibe of a Pedro Pascal look-alike on the figure. Afterwards, I will let you know if you think so. I think that he does have also a bit of a look like the character who was played Goose in Maverick, not in the original Top Gun. Does have a bit of a vibe of the figure itself. I do love the fact that you have a place for the knife, you have a smoke grenade, you have some pouches for the ammo over here, you have some more pouches, you have the holster for the gun, you have the med pack over here, then you have an extra ammo clip over here who's not removable. I do think that it could have been removable, but I do like the fact that it is in there. So yeah, this is pretty cool. Of course, we have a watch on this hand. We have a little armband who was on the original figure, but was more of a silver color. I like the pattern, the modern look of the camouflage on it. the extra knee pads over here. I really dig this figure. I think that Hasbro did a fantastic job in upgrading the figure and making it a 2025 figure, or even a later year figure, on the fact of his tactical gear and everything that comes with it. Over here we're going to have a closer look at the rifle. This is nothing new over here. This is something that was already done. Getting it, even if it's only black, doesn't disturb, and it's a pretty neat rifle to have. Over here we have his backpack. You have some canteens. It's a 3-day backpack, so you have 2 canteens. You have a lot of stuff on it, who does make sense for tier 1 operator. Then we have the knife over here, who goes over there. Then we have his pistol. Pistol looks kind of newish. I don't think that it was already used. Let's see if I can pop it up over here, maybe in this hand over here. And you can see, pretty interesting, neatly detailed. Then of course we have the rocket for the lore, who's also interesting of having. Then afterwards over here we have the lore rocket launcher. The fact of putting the little teeth and eye over here is a little bit of an overkill. Did not really need to do it, but it's a nice little add-on. The fact of having it in the open position to be able to put your rocket in over here, like if it's going to be coming out. Of course you cannot put anything over here, but technically this is a one-shot and to be thrown away, so it's a nice little add-on. Now of course the helmet does come up with some camo leaves on the art, on common net on Earth. The fact that it's the new modern generation of helmet, it makes sense also due to the fact that you're going to be modernizing your G.I. Joe. Of course he has a very small battery pack over here, should be a bit bigger, but one of the downsides of this figure, even if he has the night visions, is the fact that you cannot remove them or put them on the figure, who's a bit of a shame. I would have really liked to see something done in that kind of way. So let's go into my thoughts about this figure. Do I think it's a collectible item? While I'm going to be gearing him up. So, do I think this is a collectible item? I would say yes. I think Hasbro did a pretty good job on this figure, and the fact that he is army builder worthy, so I mean you could take off the head, remove it, replace it with some other figures, does make a lot of sense on it. So yeah, I would definitely say that this is an army building figure, so yeah, you should go for it. It really looks pretty decent, and as you can see, you can really give him this look. Of course, so this is why I'm really going on to, yeah, this is a collectible item. Would I want to see it in the retro line? The problem is, with the retro line, would we be getting an older version of the helmet? Would we not be getting it? This is all questions that need to be answered and should be done in such a way. So I'm going to put this over here. So yeah, I think this figure is a need to have. It's maybe one of the better figures of the 2025 line that they did. So yeah, I'll be doing a top 10 of the starting of next year to be able to tell you about it, and we'll give you a top 10 of all the best figures that came out in 2025. So let's put this rifle into his hand. And yeah, I do think that this is a collectible figure and is worth picking up. So, to my final thoughts, and give this figure a little spin so you can see him under different angles, and I will give you my note out of 10 for this figure. So let's give Footloose a little spin so I can tell you what I think about this figure, and also give you my final thoughts about this figure and giving you my note out of 10. So, as I said during it, this figure is exactly what I expect to have as a new G.I. Joe Classified series. I like the modern version and modernizing all the equipment, the gear of this figure, everything that comes with it. I do have one big reproach that you would have not talked about before, is when I put him on the stand over here. These are the stands that are given. He is shit-holing barely in it. The holes on his feet are way too big. So I'm going to be giving this figure a 9.5 out of 10. Should be a 10 out of 10, but it's to put my bias on the G.I. Joe figures. I really think that Hasbro got this perfectly done, due to the fact that he is modernized. This is exactly what I expect for a tier 1 operator, to have all the different accessories that come with it. Also, the reason why I'm giving it only a 9.5 out of 10 is the fact that you cannot remove his night vision goggles and put them into a position of being on his helmet. Now, if you want to be nitpicky, you could also say that there's no battery behind, or not a big battery source who's behind. But I mean, Hasbro did a fantastic job on this figure, and this is why I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. So let me know if you agree with me. Let's start a conversation. Do you have this figure? Did you have it before? Was he one of your favorite figures growing up? Let me know in the comments section, and let's start a conversation. So that's going to be it for my review of Footloose number 156 in the G.I. Joe Classified series. If you like my reviews, please leave a like, share, comment. Go to my Facebook page if you want to go and check out some of the pictures that I have done with these figures over here. Also, you have my Instagram page that is a little bit less active. You want to go and see out some of the pictures that I have done. So you can go and check it out. The links are in the description. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.